Hey, I'm Kevin McCarthy and welcome to another day in real estate. So I'm out here at one of my listings and we had this house under contract. It did wind up falling apart because the buyers were under the gun for needing to sign a new lease, and there were some foundation concerns that we were trying to work through. We have since alleviated those concerns based on the discovery that we did, but they got a foundation company that came out and just gave us crazy numbers for leveling this structure and putting steel piers everywhere. And some of those guys are real scare tactic people. It can just be insane and it can blow up a deal. And in this case, it made it very difficult. I had a couple of other different companies come out, as well as an unbiased foundation expert to look at the engineering of it and the structure to make sure that it's sound. It has, from the 0 point, this structure has a pier and beam section, a slab section where it was added onto, and then it has a rear structure that was a garage that's now converted with an apartment type area. So it has a lot of things going on with it. Two of the foundation companies plus the the non-biased foundation expert that I had come take a look at it, agree that the converted garage in the back and the other structure, even though it's not level, it shouldn't be messed with. It's not worth touching. It just is what it is. And that's the same with the house. It does have a little bit of out of level in the back corner and a little bit of, it's a pier and beam old structure, started in the 1950s. And then added on in the 1980s. And so they believe that it was probably out of level when it was made, and that by actually doing anything with it would cause it more harm. So our report says don't mess with it. The only thing that would be recommended is some of the corrections under the pier and beam portion of the house. And so I had there's two different people that climbed under there, looked at it, and gave me a few different things on that. There's a couple of the pilings that had fallen down from some moisture, and those need to be corrected. And there's a beam under there possibly that may need to be replaced. But it's really hard to get a good bead on this. So in this case today, I'm coming over here. We've got the house off the market right now while we do some discovery on it before making sure we've got all this buttoned up to relaunch it again and get it back open to the market with full disclosure of everything that we know here, putting forth a solid product so that somebody's comfortable moving forward with this property. So I'm gonna get into some different clothes, and it's time to get dirty and check this thing out. All right, we ready? This is going above and beyond for sure. Sometimes you just gotta get dirty. That looks like maybe an old beam there that fell down or was removed at some point, because it's got a structural beam here. This is a cantilever beam here. This looks like it's all in really good shape. So it looks as if that old beam was pulled and this new one was put in at some point. And that looks all fine. Here's the porch. It looks like the front beam was replaced at some point. And all this is in good shape. And this is a cantilever beam attaching the porch. That is the old beam that was removed at some point and replaced by this new structural beam. And see, there's a couple of leaning beams that need to be corrected back there. This one and that one. But those are the only two corrections those were where they were correcting, recommending putting in new piers were in these two locations right here, and that was the only one. All the other ones seem to be, everything else is in really good shape. Yeah, this all seems to be exactly the way it's supposed to be. Everything's sitting on the pilings like it's supposed to. I don't see any issues except for those two tilted ones back here in the corner, and that's from getting too much moisture, and we just need to correct the gutter on that side so that it diverts the water away from that part of the structure, and then we would get quality foundation to fix those two pieces, and we're good to go. Okay, so it appears that the foundation guru is completely correct in their assessment of this, that the house does not need any structural leveling whatsoever. There are those two piers that have become unlevel because of the water intrusion over there on the far corner, and those we need to get the water diverted away with the proper gutter and maybe do some grading to make sure that the water stays away from that area, and just stabilize those two piers, and we should be good to go. So upon further investigation back into the very back corner of this house, which I could barely fit to get back in there, but it turns out those old pilings that look like they're falling down are just sitting on a 2x4, and there are new pilings that were put in when the addition was put in behind it. The foundation guy that came out and looked at it took a look at those and immediately just put in a bid without getting all the way back there to actually look at those. And there's new pilings back there. So there's absolutely no reason to do any kind of work on this house except for manage some of the water around the foundation to keep it from, to keep it solid for long-term use. There we go. Well, there you have it, folks. I'm getting dirty in South Austin. But this house is stable, and exactly like the foundation guru said, we shouldn't touch this thing at all. It is supporting the structure as intended. I got back there in the far back reaches and corner and discovered where the piers had been replaced already. They left the old ones there that look shitty, and so that's what the guys saw. But behind it are new piers. And so there's no reason to go in and tear out. Getting a bid to put new piers in is just ridiculous. The foundation company that came out here for the buyer and looked at this was an idiot and had absolutely no idea what they were doing looking at this. They got a salesperson and not an expert. So when we brought in our expert, and I have now gone under there and taken a look at it myself, and after having multiple people look at this, 3 out of the 4 people say, you probably shouldn't do anything with this, but if you want to, you could button up these couple of things, right? We're going with that because I'm gonna trust the people that I use on a regular basis for stuff that give me good advice. So be very careful where you get your advice from. Make sure and double and triple check everything. And if you have to, get up under there and look at it yourself. Because sometimes they're not doing a full enough look and they're just gonna bid it out. And hey, they would have changed out those new piers and charged us for it, but it's not completely necessary. So I'm gonna save this homeowner a ton of time and money and heartache in having to do that. And we can completely say with confidence that somebody can move into this house without having to mess with anything. And we'll have the certification from the foundation guru that says so. So I'm Kevin McCarthy. It's another day in real estate. Peace.